Good morning and welcome to Conversations with Buddy. We record these podcasts here at the Rec Podcast Recording Studio here in Kaiser, Oregon. We drop a new podcast every Friday morning with a new story that will impact someone. We hope that someone is you. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, give us a review, and also share this podcast episode with your friends, family, and also on your favorite social media platform. We want to get these messages out to the people and to impact the world one testimony at a time. This morning, I have a guest and friend, and his name is Justin Arana. Welcome, Justin.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate that. I think you have a great story, and I can't wait to just hear it. But let me just do a quick introduction of who you are.
Yep.
I know a few things about you, and then I'm going to read something I had you kind of write up a little bit, just to maybe share a little deeper story, and then we're going to dive in.
Perfect.
All right. So I know that you're married to a lady named Emmy.
I am.
How long have you guys been married?
March was 14 years.
Okay.
So,
And you guys went somewhere. You guys went to the beach or somewhere.
we did just a little staycation at the coast. So,
Hey, good man for taking your wife away. No kids.
yeah, we visited some family down in California with the kids. So,
Okay. Got it. Let's see. You have how many kids?
I have a 12-year-old daughter,
Yeah.
Taylor,
Okay.
and a son that just turned 10. His name is Parker.
Taylor and
Amazing
Parker.
kids.
That's pretty awesome.
Good kids.
You love being a dad?
It is unreal. Yeah.
It's unreal.
Blessed beyond belief with them. Yep.
Well, I know that you did construction with your dad and brother
Yep.
for a long time. We'll talk about that in a moment. And that you're also a founder of Acres of Hope, probably with your wife. I'm guessing Emmy was a part of that.
Yep.
Okay. And then I just had you kind of just tell me a little bit more about who you are. And this is something I learned about you, that I knew you're a twin.
Yep.
But the fun fact is that you guys were adopted at birth. That's interesting to me. And that's going to be part of your story, I'm pretty sure. So
For sure.
we'll let that unveil in a moment. You said we also have a younger sister that is 4 years younger than us. I just turned 40. It tells us that she's 36.
Yep.
Okay, I'm pretty good with math. I have a huge passion for outdoor hunting, fishing, and just being in the mountains and on the rivers. It's a place that I feel at most peace and closest to God. I spent 7 years as a professional hunting and fishing guide in Alaska. I didn't know that, by the way. That's cool. My twin brother and I ran our family construction business for 15 years pre-COVID. Due to difficult family dynamics with my father, I resigned in April of 2020 during COVID, and we launched Acres of Hope with my wife. And by the way, I know that was probably a challenging time when COVID was hitting. A ministry that's supposed to be impacted in person with people, now all of a sudden you can't. So that's going to be an interesting thing, how God worked through that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. You're a co-founder and operations director, and Emmy is the CEO, so she's your boss.
Yes, she is. She was called for it.
Let's call it what it is. Along with our incredible team, we operate the ranch to bring hope and healing to hurting families. The ranch is a long-term mentorship and ministry program for youth 12 to 16 years old. That will get our conversation going.
Yep.
So here we go.
No,
So let's dive in a little bit. I think you're a little bit more practiced on sharing your testimony. So give us your testimony. I want to hear your story.
Yep.
And you deliver however you want.
No, for sure. First of all, thanks a lot for having me here, buddy. This is it's an honor to be on your podcast and really just share my story and spread the news about the good work of Acres of Hope. It's been a dream and a vision of my wife's for about 10 years now, and we're just in our third year of operations. So
just pause for a moment. You said the word vision.
Yeah.
And I've thought a lot about that word vision because I think sometimes I'm guilty of setting daily goals, weekly goals, but without the vision, you might give up on the daily and weekly goal or the year goal because you're not clear. But a vision, your wife had a clear vision apparently, and 10 years later, God has brought that to fruition. So I just wanted to pause and really think about the vision. If somebody out there is struggling with, doing whatever you want to be doing, I would challenge you to get crystal clear on what a vision looks like in 10 years and then reverse engineer your life accordingly.
For sure.
Through prayer, fasting, whatever. But okay, continue, man.
No, yeah. So I guess I'll start pre-Acres of Hope. So I just turned 40. Another fun fact, kind of my brother's and my birthday is New Year's Eve. My mom was medically unable to have kids, and that's why we were adopted. And 4 years later, she got pregnant and had a miracle baby. And my sister, that's 4 years younger than me, her name is Nicole. Her birthday's New Year's Day, so it's pretty amazing.
That's
my brother
cool.
and I are New Year's Eve. She's New Year's Day, and always been kind of a fun time of year for us.
Are you guys close as a family?
I'm very close with my brother and my sister. Yeah, 5 minutes ago, just got off the phone with my sister. She called me. She said, "Hey, I just wanted to say hey," and that's the relationship that we have. Wow. She lives nearby, just north. She lives in Canby here with her husband, and she has a 2-year-old son. Yeah. So, been very close to her. She's an ER nurse at Randall's Children's. And her husband's an engineer. So, nice. I've been in Salem, Oregon my whole life for the most part since I was 5 years old. Born in Tampa, adopted at birth. My family moved to Salem, Oregon when I was 5 years old. Grew up on a small ranch just outside of West Salem on 25 acres. My parents divorced when I was 10 years old, approximately. And, I don't remember the divorce being like at 10 years old, it's hard to kind of understand exactly what that means and what's going on. And I always say, the divorce was about as good as it could have been. There was never any custody battles. We always could kind of go wherever we wanted. I don't remember anything, horrible about it. So as good of a divorce could have been, that's how it was. And my mom moved down to Kaiser and then back into West Salem, and we lived a great life. We really did. In the early 80s, around 83, 84, my dad started a local construction business, Western Construction Systems, where we specialized in concrete and drainage work and specialty construction. We didn't build houses or do remodeling. We did structural repairs, earthquake strapping, and stuff along those lines. And that's kind of the life that I grew up in. Going to work with my dad, after school or whatever in the truck at 8 years old, and my dad toting me around and showing me the ropes. And he is and was a great dad and has a heart for teaching people. He had his own nonprofit for a while, and just out of high school, my brother and I kind of took over the business. My dad stepped out a little bit, and my brother and I ran the show together for about 15 years pre-COVID. During that time, I got married to Emmy, and we had our 2 kids. And, unfortunately, pretty much my whole life, I was unable to work well with my dad. We just butted heads. He's a hardcore old school cowboy contractor, and I have different visions, and we just, one way or another, we just always butted heads and did not work well together. And that's one of the reasons I think he kind of stepped out to allow my brother and I to kind of do our thing and grow the business the way that, we had a vision for. And 2016, 2017, my dad came back into the business, and it honestly just was not working out. We were unable to have a father-son relationship and work together. And about a year pre-COVID in 2018 or so, my brother resigned. I stuck it out as long as I could. And then COVID hit. And in April of 20, at the beginning of COVID, when literally the world was shut down, contractors weren't working, everything was unsure. I went into the office and had a meeting with my dad, and kind of a normal morning, and we had one last blow up argument together, and I walked out and never went back. So that was April of 20. And to go back a little bit. So I'll go back a little bit now and kind of talk about the vision of Acres of Hope. So my wife was a Salem Kaiser School District teacher for 9 years, and then stay-at-home mom for about 5 years as we were having kids and whatnot. My wife went through some pretty significant trauma in her life when she was junior, senior in high school. Her dad went to jail for 16 years and was an elder in their church. And she grew up in a small town, Amity, just north of Salem here. And it's a small town, and their life kind of blew up and changed forever during that situation. And horses were one of the things that got her through very difficult times in her life, and good mentors and friends. And, while she was teaching her classroom, she teaches 7th grade math and at a school in South Salem here. And she'd see these kids in the back of the classroom just, sitting with their hoodies on and never talking and maybe getting bullied or failing all their classes, or just, you can tell their home life is just crap, and it's like, what is that kid's story? What can I do? And as a school teacher, there's only so much you can do, and what is working in our society right now to help with these kids, and what is not working. And she'd talk with her mentors and other coworkers and stuff like that. And God gave her this vision to pair herding youth with horses. And she's like, what does that mean? Like, what am I going to do with this? And she prayed about it for a couple of years, and we'd be talking about it. And we were on a small piece of property in West Salem, and we had 2 horses. And, for a couple of years there, we were just kind of planning and talking and, what does this mean? What are we supposed to do with this? And, as Emmy was a stay-at-home mom, it gave her some time to really look into it and dive into the word and pray, like, Lord, what do you want from me? What does this look like? And, Acres of Hope was originally going to just be her thing, kind of more of a hobby on the weekends type of thing. 1 or 2 kids, just invite them over and, just mentor into their lives. And it's not hard to find kids that need a quality mentor. It's, you just put the word out there and word of mouth. And, so a couple years go by. She works hard. Within a year or so, she gets her 501c3 status and registers our name. So she got the name of Acres of Hope through, I believe it was a book in Isaiah that says, I will lead her out of Heartbreak Valley into Acres of Hope. And she was reading that, and she's like, that's it, Acres of Hope. That's going to be the name of our nonprofit. And was never supposed to be in our plans anyways, an actual business, and was not going to involve anybody but Emmy for the most part, just her vision. And there's a local ranch in Bend called Crystal Peaks Youth Ranch. If you never heard of them, look them up. Crystal Peaks Youth Ranch. It's a similar ministries to us, or we're a similar ministry to them. And there's approximately 200 ranches worldwide that do biblical mentorship utilizing a horse ranch. Wow. And we're kind of part of that organization. And Emmy went to a clinic there, and a multiple day kind of retreat there, and about teaching you how to do what they're doing. And it's a little bit of business and a whole lot of Jesus, of what they give you. And she came home and she's just opened her hands. She's like, all right, Lord, like, you take the wheel. Like, seriously, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. And we're just going to start walking this together. And just a couple days later, she was on a horse ride with one of her good friends. And she said, hey, that barn down on the highway is for sale. And you guys should, it's not like you guys should buy it or anything, but you guys should, maybe consider that and pray about it. And I think it was the next day, Emmy says, hey, look at this listing. And she shows me this, and it's this beautiful, huge equestrian facility on 40 acres. And I'm like, why are you showing me that? That is definitely not part of our plan. And we kind of brushed it off, and Emmy kind of, not really behind my back, but was talking to some other mentors about it and stuff. And one of her college mentors, Deb, was like, Emmy, you gotta try. Like, this is, I feel that this is where you guys are supposed to be. And through a couple months of really praying and thinking about it and talking with people that we knew would pray about it with us, that would be encouraging. Most of our family didn't know about it right off the bat. A lot of our actually close friends, we didn't share it with them right off the bat. This was something that was so far out in left field that, if we're supposed to be there, then God's going to make a way. And we had a separate rental house. I had a rental house that I bought just out of high school with my brother, that my wife and Emmy and I bought my brother out when we got married and lived there for a couple of years. And then we were able to keep that rental house and move on. And that was kind of my little part of retirement nest egg, and to have a rental. And long story short, that was maybe May of 2019, and Christmas Day of December of 19, we moved our horses over to the property and signed on it. So, we sold everything in about 60 days and put all of our eggs in one basket and moved over there with this grandiose plan to launch Acres of Hope. And then the world shuts down, right away in early 2020, COVID hits. And, it was just a very unsure, difficult time, like it was for everybody. And we have an amazing team and board of directors that is just so encouraging. And we ended up launching the program in July of 20 with about a dozen kids or less, maybe 10 or 12 kids, and quickly grew to a waiting list. And God has provided, and we've been on the property since. So I resigned from construction in April of 20. That's right in the middle of COVID and before we launched. And even then, I was not originally going to be part of Acres of Hope. It was still Emmy's deal. Yeah. I was going to kind of take a year off regardless and kind of figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And the Lord's provided, and here we are now. So, yep.
Well, take me back a little bit. Growing up, now, and you and David are pretty close.
Yep.
If I remember right.
Yep.
You guys work together. When did you come to the Lord?
Sure.
And what is your growth in the last, 10 years? And then kind of now today, I think you're an all-in guy. In fact, I know you are. You and I are in the same Bible study on Wednesday mornings when we can make it. And life's busy, but walk us through that journey. Like, what do you finally realize, like, I'm all in?
Yep.
What'd that look like?
Yep, for sure. So, I would say that my mom has been the Christian rock of our family. Kind of kept us going to youth group in high school, and that's I grew up going to Day Spring Fellowship in Kaiser here, and the youth group there, just amazing. The youth pastor there, and the connections and friendships that I had, kind of helped to keep me on the straight and narrow. Like, I grew up a pretty dang good kid, I think. There were some times here and there where I was probably in a place where my mom didn't know I was or whatever, but we grew up in the church. And during that time, middle high school age, 14, 15 years old, I think that's when I gave my life to the Lord at youth group there. And through that, through high school and my young adult years, I would say my Christian walk and my faith has, kind of been a roller coaster here and there. Running construction hardcore for 15 years, most of my adult life is intense. And some of the, I don't know, it's very fast moving, and it's easy to forget about God sometimes. It's easy to, lose track of your Bible, and a couple weeks or a couple months goes by and you got to go dust the dust off your Bible and open it back up again. And it's through quality mentors that you stay in touch with and that can encourage you and be accountable for you, that kind of helps you keep your focus. It's just life is so fast-paced and distracting that we're human. None of us are perfect, and I'm the farthest thing from perfect, but it's easy to forget about God sometimes, especially when things are going good, and it's just reality for, I think, most Christians maybe, or a lot of Christians. I don't know. It's for me anyways. I don't want to speak for anybody, but I found myself literally forgetting about God. I'd even go to church, be going to church and have an awesome worship time and walk out of church and boom, I'm back into the world, you know? And, it's, I've been on a journey. So I've been on a journey really last couple of years since I left Western and launched Acres of Hope, of listening to God's voice and actually asking him to speak to me. And that's been pretty incredible. I have some good stories with that. But I would say the last 5 years has been the closest that I've ever been to the Lord, because I've been in a time in my life where I needed him more than I thought I did before. And having to say, Lord, like, this is not my plan. Obviously we are here because you want us to be here. And, this is your plan. So you have to take care of this. You have to provide. And, by having a personal and understanding what a personal relationship with Jesus looks like. So it's been that journey that I've been on really last 5 years and really last 2 years. You know, it's recent. I'm right in the middle of it right now. And, it's humbling and it's amazing. The peace and reliance and faith, has been life-changing for me. So, yep.
I was just going to say, success rarely breeds success. Success makes life easy when we're chasing stuff, but the pain and suffering is what draws us to the Lord. And God doesn't do it to us. He allows things to happen. And I think we're all learning on this journey of our faith, and is allowing that pain to change us to be humbled, to rely on God and not self. Because relying on self is, it's not very good.
No.
I've done that as a guy, been very reliant on myself, but relying on God gives us a supernatural peace that's really what we want. We want the peace of God that surpasses all understanding.
Yeah.
And now I love this. Was there you said you came to know the Lord around 14, 15. Was there a mentor anytime in your life that's made a huge impact in your life in the last 10 or 15 years? 20 years?
You know, I don't know if there was necessarily one specific man or person. And you know what? When you said that, the first thing that came to my mind is my dad.
Yeah.
Honestly, he, you know, I don't like saying if somebody's a Christian or not, but he doesn't go to church. He taught me how to be a man. So positively and negatively. Like, I say I am the man I am today because of my dad, because he taught me a lot of things on what not to do, and what to do, you know, about caring for others and, you know, just, having eyes and acknowledging people when they're down or when they're going through a tough time and being able to help them and whatnot. My dad was always a teacher. He wasn't a biblical man. He didn't lead me to the Lord. He never took me to church. But he did other things that made me who I am today.
Yeah.
You know, my dad had, difficult times with women. You know, there's multiple times up at his house where throughout a weekend, 3-4 different women would be coming up and stuff. And that's one of the reasons why my mom and dad got divorced. And, you know, I want to leave a different legacy than that. Yeah. It's just reality. Like, I want to be better than that. And through my walk with the Lord, I've been able to acknowledge that and know that my dad was a great dad in certain ways, but I want to be a better dad to my son. I want to be the best possible dad to my son, and my kids and my wife that I can be. And that's what I'm striving for today.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be, what does it mean to be a real example? Like, what does it mean to be an example in this community, in the world, as a husband, as a dad? And, that's the journey I'm on. So,
and I would say, as you be the example for your kids, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and it's not my original thought, but the way your kids actually learn from you is how you take care of your wife.
Yeah.
How you love Emmy.
Yeah.
And they're watching you.
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing, Dad? Are you You love them, Mom? You're praying for her? You're reading your Bible? How? Show me. Don't tell me. So kids are paying attention more than you even know. So
true.
Well, it's interesting though, the legacy, God, he saves us, but then we have this journey of faith, this sanctification where he's making us more like Jesus day by day. And we don't know where that journey will go, but, we all start out ignorant, and then as we learn more about who he is and what he saved us from, it's pretty amazing. We have more appreciation, more humility. And I've known you for quite a while, Justin, but really got to know you the last few months even.
Yep.
And really have enjoyed just your friendship, your commitment to the Lord, your commitment to your wife, your kids, your ministry. You're an all-in guy. I mean, I don't think you're not holding anything back. You're a transparent guy. We're guys. We struggle with stuff, and we get to be real in Bible study and just one-on-one. So
for sure.
And today I get to take my family out to Acres of Hope and learn a little bit more about what you guys do. I don't know if you'll get me on a horse. I haven't been on a horse for at least a couple decades, but
yeah,
I'm not afraid of horses. Just
they're intimidating. They're
I'm more like a motorcycle guy,
for sure.
But I'm really looking forward to what you guys are doing, how you're impacting kids, and our kids are broken, and kids need love. And I think the way you guys use horses have no judgment. Well, I mean, I guess they can sense if somebody's fearful, but they don't come with a preconceived judgment, I guess. How would you describe how a horse...
we, for one, we're so blessed with the herd of horses that we have here. And really, our program, mentorship and ministry, the horses are the real mentors on the property. And we really believe that the Lord has built horses and designed and engineered horses to connect with people on a deep level. It is... it's almost undescribable. You almost have to see it to believe it, or interact with the horse and to fully understand. And horses need a leader. So horses are herd animals. They can't function without a leader. And they also read somebody's posture or how they're coming in. If they're coming in all hot and mad or just got expelled out of school, or they're being abused at home and they're all guarded and they're not confident in themselves, that horse is going to walk all over them, maybe quite literally. And to be able to teach a kid, hey, this horse needs you, and you and to be able to interact with a horse in a way that's gentle, and to gain the respect of that 1,000-pound animal, 1,500-pound animal, that horse can trust you and you're going to take care of it. We've seen it again and again, maybe weekly, this kid saying, I never knew I could be a leader. Well, you were just a leader to this horse. Like, if that horse didn't trust you, it wouldn't have let you do that, And, a lot of our horses, well, not all of our horses, every horse has its own personality. Yeah. Some of them struggle with anxiety. Some of them struggle with different types of pain. Some of them have been abused in the past. And the kids can relate to these horses on a deep, deep personal level, without using words, just with how we train or teach them to interact with horses,
Yeah.
So we're not a lesson barn. We don't quote unquote teach kids it's not a riding facility. They do ride, but we just utilize the horses as a tool to give these kids hope and healing, and simply give them something to look forward to during the week. So we work with all aspects of hurt and trauma, from youth that are in a home with both parents and great Christian household, but they're still struggling with anxiety. Yeah. They're still struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts or multiple attempted suicide temptings, and to group homes that come down rescued out of sex trafficking from Portland, and everything in between, homeless youth. And we just get to love and accept these kids. And kind of number one goal is keep them alive. Number too, for the most part, is lead them to the Lord. And it's powerful and it's happening. And it's not because of us. We're just walking. We are asking the Lord to lead us and to protect the ranch. And it's been pretty incredible to watch him do his work and have community come alongside us and get on board with our mission. And yeah, we started with about 10 kids in the program. Right now we have about 60 families that come out on a weekly basis, and maybe 75 to 100 families on our waiting list right now.
What I love about your story, people can be fake. Hey, Justin, how are you? And I can be fake. But a horse demands trust.
No, for sure.
And no one's, these kids that are broken, I mean, we all were human beings. We don't necessarily trust easily. Mm-hmm. But a horse demands trust. Like, you need to teach a kid, a young man or young woman, how to respect the horse and build trust. That's foundational. That's pretty amazing. And how that transforms them into, themselves and then to other people. But wow, because we as people don't always demand trust. I need to trust you, like all. Yeah. And horses feel, they sense emotion, not, hey, I love you, or whatever. They can feel what's really true.
Yeah. You can't fake it with a horse. And horses are prey animals. Like, everything is going to kill them unless they trust you. There's no in between. And that's just kind of how their brain works. And if they're out in the wild, they're always on alert, right? And it's hard to explain, but it's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So probably so the one thing about our program is the kids and youth get to really decide and have a choice of what they do on the ranch when they come. Mm-hmm. So our program looks like it's long-term mentorship. So it's 1, 2, and 3 year programs.
Okay.
And they come out for 1 hour a week with a consistent mentor that they get to build a relationship with. And they get to choose what they do on the ranch. We don't have this detailed layout of exactly, what's going to happen, because really it's all in God's plan. We can't design that. And so we get to ask them, hey, what do you want to do today? And, often they're like, oh, it doesn't really matter. We can work with a horse. That's okay. And we're like, no, listen, you get to have a voice right now. Yeah. What do you want to do? And that's a powerful thing to give to the kids, we think. And probably 75% of the time it's horse related. Yeah. We have other programs. We have an art program and little art studio on the property. And sometimes it's just walk and talk. Sometimes it's sit in the hay and, pet a cat and just talk. The biggest thing is, giving the kids something to distract them and to give them something to do with their hands while you're talking. And, maybe they don't have to make eye contact with you and they're just grooming a horse or coloring or doing diamond art or whatever, or petting a dog or playing fetch or whatever. And you can have those conversations, or just walking and talking outside where it's kind of a distraction, and they really open up and often can go deep in their life, and they don't even realize it. It's
You guys have created a safe space. I like how you say the word distraction. You distract them from their life to give them something busy to do, whether it's riding a horse, brushing a horse, whatever project it is. And the natural conversation just comes up, and whatever happens, happens. So the question, you only allow 12 to 16-year-olds, number one. What is you have 75 to 100 people on the waiting list. What's that look like? Is that, do you guys want to grow bigger by different ranches? Yeah. What's the future?
Well, so our entire program is offered at no cost to our families. They get to come and enjoy the ranch with no expectations and no financial giving at all. So I can't tell you how many, interviews or parent intake sessions we've had with, or, phone calls, and wow, my granddaughter or my daughter or my son we could benefit so much from this ranch, but we could never afford something like this. And we get to tell them, no, listen, you can just come, and this is free. They're like, nothing's free. There's got to be some, behind the scenes expectations. How often do I have to volunteer or something? We're like, listen, you come, you enjoy the ranch. you don't ever feel obligated to give us a dime or to volunteer or anything. Like, we got this. Yeah. And they just break down in tears, and it's a blessing to be able to do that. So at the very beginning, my wife, she had a vision, and she didn't want finances to be a barrier for families to come. And so we work hard within the community to raise funds, and we do different fundraisers, and we're getting some grants now, and to helping us be able to keep it at no cost. So we, last year, one of the bigger additions to the ranch is we hired a parent mentor. So the first couple of years, just talking with the parents and stuff, man, these parents, they need help too. Yeah. They need help too. We can help the kids all we want, but if we're not helping the parents also and sending them back home, then we're not doing as much as we could be doing. So by having a parent mentor on site and a nice office for her, and has been just a game changer, just an unbelievable addition. And these parents will sit and talk to Deb and just break down in tears, more, and be like, I didn't know how much I needed this. I didn't know how much I just needed to talk and vent. And, we can give them different resources. And we partner with just about every other organization in the Willamette Valley here where we have overlapping missions. We are all on referral bases and stuff like that. And, so it's a team effort. It takes a whole tribe and team to do what we're doing. And, it's not us. It's not Emmy and I. It's the whole community and people that help us. So,
wow! And the sky's the limit wherever God wants to take this. It looks like there's plenty of people waiting, and
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
you, but like you said about our waiting list and whatnot. Right now, our ranch, we are operating at approximately 1/3 our capacity. Oh, wow. So we have room to grow. Okay. I don't want to say what's holding us back is nothing's. It's all because it's all in God's timing. Like, God has a plan for us. God has a plan for the ranch, but it comes down to finances, being able to care for more horses. We have 9 horses right now. Next Tuesday, we're getting another one, slowly growing our herd, slowly getting more staff. So we have 9 staff on board right now on the property. And, we have about 50 volunteers, and about half of them come out on a regular basis. And I only feed the horses one day a week. I only feed the horses Monday mornings right now. It's incredible. And we have the barn. We have volunteers there 7 days a week, and we operate the program Monday through Friday. Yeah. Mostly in the PM. Typically, sessions start around 1:00, go till 6 or 7 o'clock. We do have 6 different programs, like including archery and stuff like that. I do archery right now with 3 dads and their daughters, and just trying to utilize the ranch to our best ability, and also just rely on God with His timing. Like, He's got it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So.
You and Emmy have come together in really full faith, and maybe it was some of her strength that maybe you didn't have early on. I don't know, as you were just doing your thing and working construction, but how God's worked through your wife to, through pain and suffering, but to grow your marriage, grow your ministry, and really trust in the Lord, because you're saying, hey, it's God's timing, not yours. And you've said that a few times. It's not about you. It's about God's timing. But you and Emmy surrendering and volunteering your lives to minister to broken kids. It's awesome.
For sure.
Hey, if people want to get involved with what you guys are doing, and really come out and visit, like what we're doing for the first time too, is going out today and visiting the ranch. What would they need to do? How would they get a hold of you? And
so we have a great website, acresofhopeyouthranch.org. We're here just outside of West Salem. We do different fundraisers throughout the year. Actually, coming up on June 3rd, we're having our biggest event of the year at the barn. It's a big, we call it the barn party. Just a time to, we're calling it Come and See, is just come and see what the Lord has done over the last year, and hear some stories, barbecue dinner, live professional cowboy auction, just to help us raise some funds and really spread the word about Acres of Hope. And I tell everybody, it takes a whole village, and just to be a word for us in the community and not forget about us out there. And if anybody has a heart for hurting youth, or they know somebody that could utilize the ranch or just volunteer, just get on our website. We have a volunteer application. We have a full-time volunteer coordinator that heads that all up. And there's also a donate tab. Every little bit helps. One of our goals this year is to increase our monthly donor base. Those are funds that we can rely on, $10 a month, $25 a month. It all adds up. And or just pray. Just pray for us. Keep us in your thoughts. Keep a note in your Bible, Acres of Hope. Talk about us at your Bible studies or whatever. Praying is another way that we ask the community. So, yep.
Wow. That's a lot, man. Well, I'm excited to learn more. And I've known about you guys for a while, but, it takes effort and energy to show up and go see what you guys are doing. The June 3rd event sounds like, and it's for anybody. It
is for anybody. It is open to the public. It is RSVP only. It's going to be assigned seating. It's live on our website right now, the registry form. Yeah. You can come just individual, or you can host a whole table. Yeah. Last year, approximately 30 out of our 40 tables, or 40 plus tables, were local businesses that supported us. And honestly, last year we raised about $90,000 that night. And it is just so humbling and confirming when our community comes alongside us like that and supports us. So it's a big event. Last year we had about 350 seated guests in the dirt, in the arena.
Love it.
And it is a fun time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hey, we're going to wrap up this podcast. We talked about a lot. I mean, I know a lot more about you and your heart and your passion. Is there anything left on your heart that you just want to share? Have we covered it all? What's that look like? And then we'll wrap up.
One of the biggest things I've been working on the last 2 years, like I briefly said before, is listening to God's voice. And what does that even mean? And what does that look like? So, I want to say every morning, but it's not every single morning, but as often as I can. I start the morning off with asking the Lord to guide me and speak to me during the day. So Lord, just speak to me, and, acknowledging what that looks like. So for me, it's a whisper, like it's a whisper or a thought, standing in the grocery line and I hear, buy that person's groceries. Or just pray for that person. And you know what? Or, I recently was at the local meat market in Independence here, and there was this mom and a young daughter. And I heard her say to her mom, do we have enough money for this? I heard her say that just, off my back shoulder. And the Lord told me, buy their groceries. And you know what? I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I was scared or it felt awkward or whatnot, and I regret that, because I had an ability, and there was a certain unique situation there where, I had a chance to speak into their lives. And I think, and I'm cool with sharing that because it's real. We're men and we're normal humans, and we screw up, and we're broken just as much as everybody else is. And, but acknowledging what those whispers mean. And I've come to the conclusion, if it is positive and it has the ability to lead me or anyone else closer to the Lord, then it's His voice. And to me, it's a whisper. And, I would just encourage other people to think about what that means for them, because we have the ability as humans to change people's lives with such small effort. Change the entire trajectory of somebody's life, possibly, generational, by a simple interaction. And it is the small things that count for me. It is the small things, like, those examples I gave. And, what does that look like for you to listen to the Lord and to be an example in your community? It's simple. It is simple. It is easy, but it takes us all stepping out of our comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's a great testimony. You're right. We don't do it perfectly. We mess it up. And the fact that we're being transparent about that, where do I screw up and where do I not listen to God's whisper to me? And same. I'm an impatient guy. My nature is very impatient, and I want what I want. And realizing being patient is walking by means of the Spirit. Well, Justin, I really appreciate your transparency, your love for the Lord, your wife, your kids, your ministry. I can't wait to see what God does through you, and you give Him the glory. So,
thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for the time. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. And thank you for your listeners out there that listen each week. This is a great story that I'd love to have you share. Get involved with Acres of Hope. Get involved with, if not Acres of Hope, get involved with the ministry. Giving back what God has given to you. So thank you, and we'll see you next week.